Recording in progress. Welcome to the Ancient Way. I'm James.
I'm Marlia.
And you're
Welcome back.
yeah, podcasting and driving.
Man, oh man. This has been the story of my life,
Yeah,
but it's okay.
yeah. Well, this week
Times
is
have been
thanks.
wild.
Yeah, it has been wild. It's been a wild year. I'm
It
shocked
has been.
and appalled that it's already Thanksgiving week.
Oh, I know.
Is your
I
is
know.
your time paradigm just messed up?
Totally.
Yeah,
I was actually listening to a bunch of people talk about that recently. Since I've been spending so much time in my car,
yeah,
I feel like chasing rabbits, but I've been listening to people and every single person has been like, "Yeah, I feel like we're in this paradigm, this time accelerator
yeah,
where everything just seems like time is speeding up." And
yeah. It's crazy.
I do feel that way.
Yeah, I do too. Um, I was thinking. I felt like I just got back from Africa, which I went to Africa
Mm,
like back in, I think it was March, April, and I feel like I
wow.
just got back and I haven't even processed that I went and got back. But it feels like that with everything. Even some monumental events, it feels like I haven't even had a chance to
To slow down and process them.
feel like everything happened like just yesterday, which is funny.
Yeah, it's true. I
And the
feel that way
year,
too.
like the year's almost over. The whole year is almost over. Really, really quick. Um,
Yeah, it's wild.
it is wild. It is. Well, um,
Oh,
yesterday, oh, you go ahead.
no, you're good. Go.
Yesterday, I did the little transitions at church,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't. I go up there. That's one of those time paradigm things. It's kind of uncomfortable sometimes, but I didn't even get to the point. I thought about it afterwards. I was like, that's not even the point. I didn't even get to the point of what I was trying to say up there at all. I didn't even hit it. But
Dude,
for
I've done
some,
that so many times.
yeah. But I guess it was fine. I don't know. I just go up there and do it. But like the thing I did see last week, which this has been something that's been on my mind too, even seeing other people and the kind of you can kind of see like snares and stuff, kind of some stuff that traps people. But I was driving and I saw it looked like a wolf howling at the moon, and I thought
Mm,
it was like a yard, just one of those weird yard statues or something, like a fountain. And it caught my attention so much. I was like, that's an interesting looking wolf. Got closer and it was like this metal chair. It wasn't a wolf. When I got in, it just kind of like shifted my perspective. And just that thing popped into my head of like, man, complacency is really a wolf. And
hmm
it's like, yeah, complacency and comfort, like being stagnant. It's like rivers of living water, like it's flowing, it's moving, there's life to it. But when water
hmm
sits still, like it's not healthy. It's actually really bad.
mm.
Stale and attracts mosquitoes and it's kind of deathly. Um, but I was thinking about, the danger of that complacency. But then the part that I completely missed, and I took little notes on it that morning, yesterday morning, but about not being so stuck. And it was one of two things. One is just complacency of like going through the motions, and just kind of doing the day-to-day thing and almost kind of a hopeless spiral. But the other one was people that kind of have uh, absolute mindsets on stuff. Like they're dead
Mm.
set, especially religious mindsets where they're just stuck in one way. And I felt this like profound sense. Almost, I wanted to encourage everybody, like I think part of the pathway and the key and into seeing in the spirit, and even some of the like more miraculous stuff popping off and happening, is to really let go of some things and just really
Yeah.
be open. It's like, don't, even if it's like an outcome, good or bad, like do away with that, do away with even some of the stuff we just cling on to that. like let go. I feel like if we're malleable and open, that really allows him to move more and him to pop off. It allows that river to flow when you're not choking it out with a absolute, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, a couple of people that I've seen and encountered over the past couple of weeks popped into my head, and they're people that are they're chasing like even the mystical experiences and even like the deeper love of God. And it's just there's stuff that's in the ways. You want to tell them like, hey, if you could kind of let go of that, that would give more space for that water to fill you up a little bit. You know, if you could just let
Mm.
go of this aspect of, you know, where you think God is like, anyways. That was what I was gonna talk about yesterday was like let go, which I heard
You did hit on that a little bit, which I thought was good.
I don't remember what I said.
You did. You hit on it a little bit. You didn't fully
Okay,
go into it, but you did hit on it.
good. Maybe next time go further
For
into
real,
it.
circle back.
Yeah. But and then also I saw a video recently. There's an actor, Anthony Hopkins is his name. Really good actor and all this stuff. He was in Silence of the Lambs. He played Hannibal Lecter, the cannibal in Silence of the Lambs.
Mm.
He's a great actor. But there was a video that popped on. It was a YouTube short that popped up. And I guess he was at some kind of, I don't know if it was like an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting or something, some kind of recovering, I don't know what it was, a meeting, but he was telling this story about how he went to this meeting or whatever, and there was a priest there. And the priest stopped him on his way out. They were talking about like let go and let God, that kind of stuff. And the priest stopped him. And, anyways, Anthony Hopkins thought it was all just trash. You know, he's like, he's tired of hearing that stuff. He just quizzed this priest. He said, what is the most effective, what is the most powerful, shortest, most powerful prayer you could possibly pray? And the priest said, F it. Like, I
Wow.
mean, he said it was like F it. That's the shortest prayer you can pray. And if you can get past the like what Daniel was talking about yesterday, the words and like the heart behind it, having that like there's a
Mm-hmm.
just forget about like let go of it. Like really, F it is essentially kind of surrender, you know?
Oh yeah.
But that opens up so much opportunity for growth and the miraculous stuff too. You know, people want to see healings and limbs grow back and dead raised, and I think a lot of it's just being open to it. But
Yeah, I think there is such a invitation to let go of the way things are supposed to be.
yeah,
Like even when it comes to like healings and miracles or like your day-to-day stuff, like I think I realized like one of the things like that I'll get kind of caught in the trap of is like praying that the Lord would come through for a breakthrough.
hmm
Like, Lord, would you break through in this? Would you break through in that? Would you show up in this? And it's like something he told me yesterday during worship is live as if you already have the breakthrough.
yeah,
Live as though everything that you've wanted or you're desiring, whether it's the miracles or financial breakthrough or business breakthrough or added resources or restoration in relationships, like live as though that's already happened.
yeah,
Interact with those things as if they've already happened. And it just hit me so hard of like that's actually what that's how we're supposed to be living. Like we're
yeah,
seated in heavenly places. So it's not even if we're praying for healing, it's not, Lord, I ask that you heal. It's like, Lord, I thank you that you already accomplished the healing.
yeah. Thank you for health.
And
Yeah,
yeah, thank you for the health. Thank you for the wholeness. And we receive the process or whatever that looks like to walk it out,
yeah,
you know? And I think that's what it is like to carry the heart of humility is like, it doesn't matter what you were saying yesterday
yeah.
of just like, it actually doesn't matter the outcome.
hmm
It doesn't, it's actually about encountering the goodness of God.
yeah.
or encountering that nature, the nature of him that you're actually craving. Because I
Yeah.
think if you're looking for anything in your life, wanting something to be established, you're looking for for your life to feel and look different. You're
Hmm.
wanting things to look different in your own life. Whether that's like, I don't want any more anxiety or I don't want any more depression. It's like, no, you're actually searching for peace,
Yeah.
and living from what you're actually gaining, not from what you're trying to let go of,
Hmm. Yeah.
you know.
Or
I mean, I
escape.
think
Yeah.
yeah, or escape, or
Mm.
I think there's a place of like living into something versus trying to live away from something.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. That
But
was, yeah. DT hit on some of that stuff too, like kind of the works of the flesh, like rather than try not to do those things, you know,
hmm
love God, love others covers, you don't have to worry about it when you're in that. And those two,
yeah.
it covers everything. One thing, I was listening to Mike Parsons, one of his videos a couple of days ago,
hmm
and he was talking about like feelings and like feeling
hmm
like a feeling of loss or like, you lost something or you messed up or whatever. And it's like saying, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. And then it's like, no, there's no should or shouldn't about it. Like you feel what you feel and you can introduce the Lord into that place.
Yeah.
It literally is the fear of the Lord, the reverence that he's there. If you have that, like whatever you're feeling, you can just introduce him into it. Like right there,
hmm
right then and there. That's a good practice to think. Like even right now, you could sit here and say, huh, well, where am I at right now? How am I feeling right now? And just introduce them into it. Like,
Yeah. I was
let's
actually
process this together.
that's funny because I was listening to somebody who's talking about, I think one of the greatest keys that holds people back is they're waiting for the feeling to release
Hmm.
before they do something.
Yeah.
They're looking for a shift in the feeling before they XYZ.
Yeah.
When really to bring the Lord in is like, hey, I feel this. I know that you're with me, but I'm going to do it. I will do it regardless of my feelings.
Hmm.
I will do it with this feeling.
Yeah.
And you train yourself to no longer have, that's where I think feelings are no longer good or bad. It's
Hmm.
like, no, I have this feeling. Now I will move accordingly
Yeah.
into whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, I think sometimes we have such self-sabotaging habits
Yeah.
where it's like, I feel anxious about this thing, so I don't want to look at it. I don't want to address it. I don't want to talk about it. I want to lay on the couch and watch TV. I want to eat XYZ food. Like, instead of just saying, you know what? No, I feel this way.
Yeah.
I recognize I feel this way. And what am I trying to avoid? And then just kind of moving into it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And
But
it's an opportunity for some sort of key or coin or token or growth too, if you can catch it. And it's like when you're in it, you're not always, I guess the example, you're not always, if you're feeling depressed, you're probably not always depressed. But if you're there,
yeah.
might as well bring him into it and get it while it's
Mm-hmm.
there, right? You can't go fishing unless you're at a body of water, you know? So if
Yeah.
he's there, might as well cast the line and, give it to
Mm-hmm.
him and bring him into it. You can view it that way.
And
It
then
makes the
do,
feelings more welcome too. It's like, okay,
uh-huh.
it's very uncomfortable, but I welcome it because we're gonna sit in it and we're gonna sort through it. And that kind of demystifies it too.
Mm-hmm. And I think it takes its power away,
Yeah.
you know, especially for negative, quote unquote, or feelings that people are uncomfortable with, like pain.
Yeah.
You know, we don't often think, like, when you're depressed, you don't actually think of yourself as in pain.
Hmm.
But it's like, no, I actually am in pain. I feel that I can't express who I really am. My creativity is capped.
Yeah.
I feel worthless. And those are painful feelings. Um, but to go into that is like, I feel this. this can't fully be true. So what is true? And then you bring the Lord into it, and then you just sit, you know?
Yeah.
And then oftentimes I have it where the Lord will actually give me something to do
Yeah.
to kind of activate. No, we actually are in motion, because that's all emotions are, energy in motion. And so it's like, no, there's something that you can move into. If you're feeling depressed, go flow in some kind of creativity,
Yeah.
because that's really what it is. You're actually capped in your creative, like you haven't taken the things that are swirling in your brain and put them out into the earth.
Interesting. Yeah.
And because you can't be, I mean, it when you are flowing in your creativity, you're not depressed at all.
No.
You're like, I'm lost in the sauce over here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
So I think it's unclogging yourself.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
normally if you're anxious, you're procrastinating something. So it's like, what are you avoiding? What are you trying to
Putting
put?
on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what are you scared of?
Hmm.
There's just like simple associations that I've seen. It's like, no, this behavior produces this feeling,
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
this feeling will produce these behaviors.
Yeah.
And it just makes it way more simple, because then you
Yeah.
know how to flow with it. You know how to flow with the Lord in it. It's like, okay.
Yeah. You can captivate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. That
Yeah.
that reminds me of the sound mind, the detective work you did on that term, the sound mind, it being the discipline or it being the mastery of your
Yeah.
thoughts and feelings and emotions. That's what that sounds like to me. It's the ability to
Mm.
navigate those things. And uh, yeah, discipline. What would
Something.
you say? Let's just pretend that I'm just, I don't know. I don't know anything about anything and I'm just whipped around by my thoughts. What would be step number one? What would you say, step number one, if you were going to help me guide me into self mastery of kind of my thought life or whatever? What would be the first step?
For me, what I tell everybody is you have to get into your body again.
Okay.
Because if you're only thinking your thoughts are producing your feelings. So
Hmm.
now you're being controlled by your thoughts.
Yeah.
And your body is now having physical responses by these thoughts. Um, and so I always say, when you have a thought, feel it in your body.
Hmm.
So normally I will have, because when I work with people in this, I will literally have people find it in their body. So for example, if I'm going down this rabbit trail of like, I'm so stressed, I've got this to do and this to do and this to do and this to do and this to do, right? You
Yeah.
you get overwhelmed by that. I tell people, take a deep breath, and then it's like, where do you feel that? Most people will say, I feel it in my throat, I feel it in my heart, or I feel it in my stomach,
Yeah.
right? And then I say, put attention there. So because you're already holding the energy, you're trying to divert attention. You want to bring attention into your body
Yeah.
and let your body feel it. And then you breathe through it. Then you start taking breaths and you start to imagine what it looks like, right? So, for example, um, I'll give just an example of somebody I've worked with, right? They'll say it's in my solar plexus. Every time I'm like, okay, where do you feel it in your body? Oh, it's stuck. It's stuck. It's right here.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we'll breathe through it. Well, what color is it? So these are things like I start to go into tangible. It's like, what color is it? This person would say it's red. Okay, well, what does it look like? Is it red mist? Is it red smoke? Is it red balls? Is it spiky balls? Is
Yeah.
it, start to give it description. That way you can start to put, what is it actually what's a visual that I can put to it?
Yeah.
But it helps bring the person out of their mind, dropping in. So then you can see what it is, and then you have power over that. So then
Hmm.
you can start to release it,
Yeah.
right? So when you see that it's a red ball, it's like, okay, if you feel that thing being so intense, okay, I want you to invite light in now. the brightest white light that you can see, and I want you to watch it encapsulate it.
Yeah.
Does it wrap it up? Does it blow it out? Does the, like you go into your own imagination of how
Uh-huh.
you want the Lord to unlock it.
Yeah.
And I always say, invite the Lord in as we do this.
Of course.
Um, but it's a practice of that. It's a practice of like, no, get back into your body, feel what's happening inside of it. Get rooted back into where we're at in
Yeah.
this 3D plane, right? Because so many people are scared to be here,
Yeah.
right? It's so scary to be present
Yeah.
in this domain. And that's why I think people over spiritualize the crap out of stuff, like, because they're trying to get outside of this and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, well, it's the spirit. I'm in the spirit on the Lord's day. And it's like, no, dude, you're scared about living in this reality.
Yeah.
But
Huh.
that's like the simplest,
Interesting.
like, and I've had so many people have so much success just by that little flip alone.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
where they can start to put a tangible picture to it.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good. It reminds me of I was on a I was on a show. I was on a couple of episodes of this show. Friend of mine, she had me on her show. We met actually. We were making a movie and she was making a music video and she invited me onto her show, but she walked us through an exercise very similar to this, where we
hmm,
had paper and it was about like creativity and business and ideas and really kind of laying all your stuff out on paper. But one of the questions that she asked, I hope I'm not butchering this, but it was like draw the shape that you feel like right now or whatever. If you were a shape, what do you feel like right now? And it was all this stuff. Normally, when it comes to like homework, drawing stuff out like that on paper, I'm like, yeah, I'll pass. But this one it was very, really cool. Uh, she needs to come on here too. Y'all would get along very well. It would be a good
heck yeah.
episode. Um, but I remember doing that, drawing that out, and it's like you get to map out what's going on the inside, you know?
Hmm.
So it's almost like if you could
Yeah.
just slow down for a minute and just take a seat and just write down all that stuff. Like you're saying, like where does it hurt? I don't think I've ever heard that before. Like where does it hurt? What color is it? That kind of thing. I
Hmm.
mean, I had one, I guess it was last week. It was like right here in the forefront of my head. And
Yep.
it was like red scribble drawing line. I felt like there were eels in my head swimming around up on
Mm.
the front, you know.
Hmm.
It felt like it was blocking my ability to, even lock onto something or focus, almost like a
Yeah.
smoke screen or something. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. But then, like, that's where I think it's so fun because then you can start to differentiate,
Uh-huh.
especially during that practice. You can start to differentiate, is this in me or is this outside of me? Because
Yeah.
when you can really start to feel that, right? So if you're having swirls inside your brain,
Uh-huh.
like right in front of you, it's like, okay, is this thing actually attached to me or is it just trying, and you get real clear on it. You'll
Yeah.
start to be able to discern, this isn't pain in me. This thing's being projected.
Yeah.
Like this is actually of something else.
Oh
So
yeah.
then it's just Lord, I invite you in, wipe that thing out. I'm
Yeah.
out. Like I'm not even tolerating that.
Yeah.
Or if it's like this, I'm not saying this is you. I'm just saying
Not
this is a
sure.
hypothetical. It's like, oh, there's a whole lot of red. Okay, is there anything that I'm actually kind of angry about that's swirling in my mind? Like, am I kind of bitter about something here
Yeah.
that's kind of blocking my creative flow?
Yeah.
It's like, no, okay, okay, then that really is this thing. Like,
Yeah. You
you
hit the
know,
nail on the head. That's about what it was.
yep,
That's probably what it actually was, even though you said you didn't. Probably what it was, but yeah, it's cool.
yeah. But to me, that's a way that I've actually sharpened my discernment.
Yeah.
It's a way that I've like, and to be honest, nobody taught me that. The Lord
Yeah.
taught me that. The Lord
Yeah.
taught me that practice. And then I have imparted it to other people, and I've seen it help so
Yeah.
many different so many different clients that I have,
Yeah.
because so many people that come to me have physical ailments, right? They've got kind of all over the place, and they're like, I've been to every doctor and I da 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 da, and I don't have like, it keeps coming back, and it's like, yeah, dude, because it's emotionally rooted.
Yeah.
Your emotional issues are causing these physical manifestations.
Yeah. We
Um,
don't know the
which
power to
is
hold that either.
very
It's like
much so.
you got a huge set of keys on your belt there. Like, have you tried those?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
that's what's so special about it. It's like, hey, you can you actually have the authority in this.
Hmm.
Really.
People just have to me, you just have to know the tools that are on, like,
Yeah.
you actually have to know that that's a tool around you. Like,
Yep.
you don't know that you're carrying a hammer until somebody's like, hey, bro, you're carrying a hammer.
Sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, the Lord can reveal it. Don't get me wrong. That's not
Yeah.
fully what I'm saying, but like just some practical stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So, I thought it was interesting. I wanted to share this, that, yesterday Daniel's message about, one of the key things that I loved was that he was getting into the spirit of divination.
Yeah.
And, like, you can actually have something completely true, but it not be of the right spirit.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
And Saturday night, I had actually had a dream. So, Sunday morning was the message. And I hadn't told anybody, just Zach and I were kind of processing it on the couch Sunday morning, because Saturday night I had a dream that I was in a marketplace and it was full of fruit.
Hmm.
Um, and most of it was not organic.
Hmm.
Most of it was not organic fruit,
Oh wow.
but I was carrying these 5 grapes in my hand, and I knew that these were good, these were safe, and I was like, these are organic, and I said these are organic and authentic. But I was really like trying to observe what fruit around here, because it was massive fruit,
Yeah.
what was organic and what wasn't. And Zach had actually, in the dream, Zach had actually eaten these 2 massive strawberries that were as big, if not bigger, than a grapefruit.
Yeah.
And I was like, basically, I was saying, dude, only the strawberries and the grapes are organic here. Like, the rest of this big fruit has been modified.
Yeah.
Um, and so then for Daniel to kind of go into, like, you actually can judge stuff by the fruit.
Yeah.
Um, and even if somebody is saying something that is true, it does not make it of the Lord,
Yeah.
you know?
True.
Uh,
Hmm.
because there's been a lot of like, it was cool because I've been seeing it in my life. A lot of
Yeah.
people have been saying true things
Yeah.
of like, yeah, that's true, but that doesn't feel right.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it doesn't feel right.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna agree with that. And even though that looks like it's got big fruit,
Hmm.
it's not really organic.
Genetically modified. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that's way more
Interesting.
contaminant,
Yeah.
like way more contaminated.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Hmm. Yeah.
but
When did Zach eat
I
this
think it's
was Saturday that Zach was eating those big strawberries in your dream?
Saturday night, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, which it was cool because the thing that Bob Jones talks about, like strawberries, actually are this it's strong healing virtue,
Hmm.
which,
That's
you
cool.
know,
I was eating.
there's just
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, you're good, go.
Um, I had a dream. I guess I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. Like I said, my time's jacked up. But it was recently about this that cornucopia. I was in a cornucopia, that funnel Thanksgiving thing that you see at
Oh yeah.
whatever. But I was alone, and then I was brought this picnic basket full of bread and fruit and stuff like that. And then the next scene, I was like in a cornucopia. Just to sum it up, I was inside of it with giant fruit, and I remember eating grapes that were this big. It was I was
Shut up.
eating it, and I remember eating. I took a grape specifically. It was on my right side, and I took this big grape, and you couldn't even get your mouth around it. But I was eating on this, like chewing on this grape, like a little bunny rabbit or a mouse or something, nibbling away at this thing. But it
That's
was
literally what
grape.
that's what it was in my left hand,
Yeah, interesting.
were the grapes.
What are
And his
grapes, and what are you went on strawberries? What are grapes?
Bob, this is what Bob Jones says, which
Uh-huh.
I like.
Yeah,
So I take it. I don't always do like one-to-one application, but I do with him.
with him, yeah.
He says grapes are faithfulness. It's saying no to other options.
Wow.
Yeah. Like it's the strong faithfulness.
Yeah, and that's what you were holding. That's kind of what
Mhm.
you're. Yeah, that's
It's kind of
cool.
what you've walked through.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
Man.
So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it
And
is
just even
cool.
for him, like this has been a whole thing. But we've had so many like significant things happening that he was even saying like sometimes I wonder if all the healing that I've actually walked through, if it's real. Like I
Yeah,
mean, he's gone just looking over the last like year, he has undergone some of the like the coolest transformational stuff
yeah.
I've ever gotten to watch and be a part
Well, even
of,
having some
walk with
like
somebody.
face-to-face encounters too, right? I mean,
Hmm.
some pretty
Yeah.
strong stuff.
Yeah, just like holy crap, dude.
Yeah,
For him this year, it's just been beautiful.
yeah,
And so then for me to have that dream about like nothing else really was authentic or organic except what he was partaking of
yeah,
and what I was partaking of. It's like, okay, like he told me that next morning. He was like, "Okay, I think it's real." And then Daniel spoke on like what like the real fruit of stuff.
yeah,
And he was like, even if it was true, what
yeah,
his thoughts were of like, well, is this really going to stick?
yeah.
It's like, it doesn't. That doesn't even matter because the
Right.
fruit of it's not real.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Cool.
yeah, it's fun. For me, it's so fun when your dreams that the Lord is speaking into,
Uh-huh.
you see them play out in the natural and you
Yeah.
see confirmations that come and it's just like, no, we're flipping doing this thing, guys.
Yep.
Like we're all doing this thing and we're doing it
That's
together.
yeah. That's what I that's what I wrote down too. I thought if I write down notes and I go to speak somewhere, I butcher everything. It's an awful, awful, atrocious mess. It's not good.
You're better doing things on the fly.
On the fly, 100%. I'd rather, study a little bit and just go on the fly or not study and just go on the fly. But
Me too.
yeah. I was writing that though, kind of what Zach's talking about. Even like I'm not sure if that healing was even real. Like it's all faith. It's all faith.
Hmm.
I wrote that. That's what I was going to say yesterday too. But yeah, let go of how you think things should happen and just bet on His goodness. This is a life of faith. It's a way of life.
Hmm.
It's like it's how you navigate and live the thing. It's always going to be faith. It's always faith.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Hmm. I love that phrase. I actually am literally writing it down.
yeah, cool.
Like bet on his goodness. It's always going to be faith.
Yeah. So it's the life. It's the lifestyle.
And I think the reality is that until like that, I almost cussed. That stuff is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like leaning into faith and leaning into uncertainty,
Hmm.
it is very, I think it is very much like a muscle that has to be exercised.
Yeah. But think about it too. Like go back 3 years. Look at what was uncomfortable back then that you were faithful with, and like look at it now. It's like, is that uncomfortable now? Not really.
Totally.
Not really.
Totally.
Second nature, first nature, really now.
Hmm.
You know, it's kind of the benefit of
Yeah.
it
I
too.
think that's the it's such a beautiful place that we can get into this valley of decision where
Hmm.
it's like are we going to choose the uncertainty and uncomfortability of what it is to go forward?
Yeah.
Or are we going to kind of go, kind of what you were saying in the beginning, of just this comfort of the familiar, comfort of what we've always known, and even if we're like thinking this isn't working,
Hmm.
it's like, well, I think the uncomfortable thing is to actually believe it is,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? But
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
that's just my 2 cents on it.
It's good. It's good.
Hey, is there anything that you feel like you've kind of sensed over the next, like 6 weeks or so till the end of the year, or anything like that from the Lord?
Yeah, well, part of the fruit and the cornucopia thing is like the faithfulness being rewarded. I mean, you just said faithfulness, but it felt like a chance to breathe and reap benefits of some of the faith, because a lot of it, like for me personally, the past year has been pretty faith driven and not what seems like not much
Mm-hmm.
turn on that, you know. But I sense pockets of like the return on that stuff.
Mm,
I feel like actually seeing the evidence of it and tasting and experiencing the actual evidence of some of that stuff.
yeah.
Which this is a funny one, especially with the pipeline. Because the pipeline we shut it down, I guess, weeks ago. But what's interesting about that is I was faithful throughout this year, and I had that dream of like following the pipeline. I don't know if you remember that dream probably, but I was on a flea market, and there was a pipeline running down the center of it, and there were vendors and markets on the side, and they were trying to sell me stuff like, "Hey, come over here," trying to take the attention off of the following this pipeline to the end of the hallway. And that was when the witch showed up with the contract, like, "Take this, you'll get all these presents behind this glass window if you just sign this paper."
Mm,
I knew that was a cop out. Like it would have been good. I would have got that stuff, but I wouldn't have been able to see what's on the end of this. And so I said, "No, screw you. You're a witch. You're trying to pull me off of this. You're malicious. I can see it." And
mm,
got back on the path. And at the end of the path, it was this big room with like 10 different doorways. And the doors were so much light I couldn't see, but I knew there were options and they were doors, whatever that looks like, more. Um,
mm.
but so this whole past year has been, I had that dream about a year ago and I kept going. And about a year ago, I had some offers to leave that would pay double what I was making. And it was just almost turnkey, like you can just quit and it'll be off your plate and you'll be making this much money and you can really be well off. And I said no. I took the more difficult, stupid road that appears stupid.
Real talk. Yes, I do know that.
Yes. But over the past year, though, looking back, even sitting here now and looking back, thinking, oh my God, I never would have met these literally 10 plus people.
Mm,
I never would have been in this person's office at this big building in the city. I never would have met these people and built these connections and relationships. These people never would have met those people that are now like working together to build something. Like I see the fruit of
mm, mm,
persistence and what came in. Had I said no, there's so many people that are in my life now that I would not have even probably met. I wouldn't have met them
mm.
at all. I wouldn't have had know, chili lime sea bass for 2 hours with so and so, and all these cool, really cool connections and stories. But
Mm.
I got an email last year. There was this like fraternity of young young boys, and they're like this group that we hosted like almost exactly a year ago, and they came in. I opened up the facility for them and hung out with them and helped them. We hopped on in the podcast studio and just played and got on the camera and stuff like that. That was a year ago, and I got an email from them like recently, like a week or two ago, and they're having this like it's like a Christmas charity ceremony thing, and they want to give me like an award for it. They want to give me an award for helping them and being there, and they said it left such an impact on them that they want to give me
That's
this
incredible.
trophy thing. And I was like, y'all, the fact I was shocked that it meant so much to them to give them
Yeah.
space like that. But it's the Blue Light Award is what it's called, which is
Dude, that's cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So that felt like a grape to me of like I actually those kids
Mhm.
actually benefited from what I allowed or what I was able to provide for them or whatever,
Yeah.
which was that was worth it alone. And so
It's
that's
brilliant, man.
that thing is next weekend, which is really sweet because it's like there hadn't been much honor from
Yeah.
other people and some stuff like that, but it's like it's about the impact you have on like individual people.
Yeah.
It's about that person to person connection. It's like it's not about the grand scheme of things. People get awards every day for doing these monumental acts or starting some big thing, or people are breaking ground with shovels and wearing suits and hard hats, and but it's like really some of the unseen stuff with the people that you encounter on
Mm.
a day-to-day basis. And anyways,
That's so much more valuable.
it is, yeah, it is, and it's what's actually real. A lot of the other stuff's fluffy. It's fluffy and it's kind of brittle, you know. Like
Yeah.
if you name a statue after a extremely wealthy person and it's only named after them because of the money they've given, that's not really it's kind of cheap, you know. It's not really that
Yeah.
substantial. But anyways, that was a grape. So I do feel like, and plus some of the dreams I've had, and I feel like it'll be a season of Thanksgiving and of
Mm.
faithfulness rewarded like tangibly. That's kind of what I long. I mean, I went on a trail there, but
That's
feel that,
really cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I really felt like people were gonna see kind of in the same vein, but it was like, no, you're actually gonna see the conquering of something.
yeah,
Like this thing that you feel like you haven't been able to conquer,
yeah.
you're going to see the completion of it.
That's good.
And it will be a thing that you have conquered, not are conquering.
Yeah,
You know, for me, the Lord started, there's a whole long thing behind it, but starting on October 18th, I went through like these series of things, that the Lord was showing me anyways, and it was about the 7 week cycle and how the 7 week cycle actually ends on December 2nd.
hmm.
But I thought it was so interesting. Like the end actually is this week of
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
yeah. Golly,
And that was before you had ever said anything about the cornucopia. That was before
about Thanksgiving, anything stuff.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
This
hmm.
was before Daniel had ever done those messages about Jericho and the seven.
Yeah,
And the Lord had actually took me to, I think it's Second Kings 18 or maybe First Kings. I always mess those up.
yeah.
But the story about Elijah, I think it's First Kings 18 now.
Hmm.
But he told his servant to go out and look, and he told him to go look for the cloud coming in.
Yeah.
Took him 7 times he had to go out, and on the seventh time he saw the cloud for rain,
Hmm.
as small as the size of a fist.
Yeah.
And anyways, but that's just this whole thing. And then I'd had this dream, and then I got this word about 40 days. And then when I went and looked, and this was after he had already told me about the 7 weeks, I went and
Yeah.
looked at 40 days. That 40 days ends again on December 2nd.
Hmm.
So it's like all these things about like this 7 week cycle, this 40 days of completion, this,
Yeah.
because that's 40 days in the wilderness. But
Yeah.
there's just so much that I feel people are coming into completing.
Hmm.
Like the end of the year, coming at it with a place of thanksgiving, reviewing the year of the transformation that the Lord has taken you through,
Yeah.
looking at what He's added to you more than anything.
Yeah.
I think it's look at what He's adding because that will cause so much thanksgiving.
Yeah. That's good.
Uh,
And one thing too, even you saying that, like with the specific date and stuff, that's one thing that's like concrete in my mind is like that the time, that season is like right now, physically, like
very
completely
much
right
so.
now. I had
Hmm.
the same night that I had that dream. I'm just remembering this. The same night that I had that dream with the Thanksgiving and stuff, I had a dream that I saw a very specific group of people, very specific group of people downtown here
Mm.
uh, on the square. And I think it was Friday. I saw that specific group of people down here on the square, and it's like one of those.
Oh,
It was just such a like the odds of that happening. It was very specific. And when I
I
saw them,
love
it
it.
took me a while to recall, like, oh my gosh, that's the same dream that was in with the Thanksgiving cornucopia dream. Like the time is like it's actually here. It's
Yeah.
like he's saying, like, hey, by the way, this is that season right now. You're in it.
Hmm.
So be
Yeah.
thankful. And it's
Yeah,
Thanksgiving. All of it.
for me, those dates, it was like such a timestamp
Yeah.
of like, because I think when things are that profound, it's that important.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's like, don't get away from, if there is something the Lord is pricking on you or trying to heal in you, like don't run away from it because you're going to conquer it.
Yeah.
Like if there's pain there, if there's anxiety, if there's turmoil, like whatever negative thing gets swirled,
Yeah.
lean into it,
Yeah. Go
feel it,
into it.
be with it, and then go into Thanksgiving with it.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord for the depression if you're feeling it. Thank the Lord for the anxiety because it's communicating something to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
And there's
pain that you may be carrying.
yeah. Yeah. You can apply it. You can have his heart in it. There's just like, it really is.
Hmm.
It's like a buried treasure or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome.
But I did. It felt very heroic.
Heroic.
The
Yeah.
last part of this year felt so heroic. Like
Yeah.
you are gonna feel like a hero.
Yeah.
Like you did it. We did
Yeah.
this thing.
Sweet.
It happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Take some of
those
that.
are my things.
That's good. Yeah. Take that. That's it. I think that really is it too. That is it. Cool.
Well, I hope everybody have a really good Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah. Likewise, everybody go spend time with your families and yeah, have fun.
Hmm. Find ways to love them.
Yeah.
It's funny. Hopefully I can say this because nobody of my family listens to this. But
Your family, you're in trouble whenever your family starts listening to all these episodes.
oh no.
I'm kidding.
Well, it's just
You hadn't said too much.
they're just funny. They're funny individuals.
Yeah.
But like I was talking to my sister the other day, and I she's just kind of complaining about family stuff.
Uh,
And I just kind of laughed and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm not triggered by any of them. The
yeah.
way that you're like talking, and I was like, they don't bother me.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, wait, what? She's like, they don't bother you? I was like, no. I was like, just give them space to be in their own process. I was like,
Uh-huh.
I don't let it eat my lunch.
Yeah.
And it was like you'd have thought just flabbergasted.
Uh-huh.
And of course she was like, well, good for you. And I'm like, I'm not trying to say that. I'm
Oh
just saying
God.
like
Yeah. That's
I
funny.
was really offering that this could be for you too. Like people don't
Yeah.
have to eat your lunch.
Yeah, it's true.
Um,
That's funny.
you can find ways to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But
We got my grandparents, my grandmother had a box of videotapes, like from across the years of just like old ones. And there was one when she was a kid. And I'm like, I didn't know they had cameras back then. Like when my grandmother was like a little girl.
no.
The footage is real old, but it's like, it's kind of cool. Anyways, I went and had it. She wanted me to go have it processed and transferred to digital files so that
Yeah,
we could
yeah.
have it forever. And I did. It's like 9 hours of footage, and there's stuff from like when Jake and I were kids, and we were like making movies and stuff, and it was like I had so much disdain for myself, seeing my old self,
Really?
like hatred. And I was like, I had to check
Mm,
myself on it. Just some of the younger James stuff. It was like nasty. I had some like awful feelings towards myself, but
mm.
some of it was funny, and some of it was like, well, you were Jake and I were making movies and stuff back when we were little kids. And you can, and even some of the family, you can see like looking at family now, you can see where stuff was like sewn into them and they grew into it for, for better or worse. But it was just an interesting, with Thanksgiving coming up too. It's like, oh, here's the whole family this week. Here's the whole family 20, 30 years ago. You can see like how it all, anyways, fun dynamic. It's fun to watch and see,
That's epic, dude.
but it's kind of the stuff that we do with our kids too. It, like you can see how it either sticks with them and they mature in it, or like you can see all that stuff. Definitely
Hmm.
made you think like, oh, it's really important the way that we are, around our kids and stuff too. Very important.
Oh, for sure.
Anyways,
So cool, man.
yeah, cool. We did an episode today. We
We
did a
did it.
full episode. That's great.
I kind of feel like a hero right now, to be
I feel like a
honest.
hero too. We just like took a big flag and stake it in the mountain there. Good.
It's been hard, but we did
It
it.
is. It is. Sweet.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see y'all next time.
Bye, y'all.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Ancient Way podcast, drop us a like, share with your friends, share with your family. And if you'd like to support us and what we are doing, and you would like to play a direct role in our growth and things that we do in the future,
we have a donation spot at the bottom of our show notes. So you can click on that, give however much you want. We appreciate absolutely everything. We appreciate our listeners. And everybody that's already come alongside and encouraged us, and even everybody that's been on our show. So thanks, guys.